Welcome back. This is Jason with the CDJ and the mixer introductory lesson via YouTube. If you have any questions for me, by all means you can send me an email at president@noosacommunityradio.org, and I will follow that up with a telephone call with you and potentially a meeting with you in relation to hands-on experience. Now, what we have here is a mixer. It turns on and off at the back. Quite standard. All these connections will remain connected. I can actually get the CD player and the mixer to talk to each other. In this situation, I'll set that up for you right now. Down the bottom here, we have some things called fader start, which allows this. We're working on the channel 2 right hand side CDJ at the moment. The other one is identical, yet it is off. So coming back into the mixer section here, we have 2 channels for the volume. We have a master section for volume and for balance. Obviously balance is left or right. I would generally always keep them in the center. This section here is for equalizing. Equalizing are the frequencies in your music. We have high, mid and low. The center piece, 12 o'clock, is central. The further to the right or high, you increase the volume of that frequency. Vice versa, turning it to the left, it reduces it. We have a gain knob here at the top. The gain knobs define the gain of each individual song. Not all songs are produced at the same level, therefore the gain knob is required to make adjustments so that the song is at a good level. Generally, I always recommend setting the gain knob so that it's a nice clean signal and putting this knob all the way up. Now, notice that the fader, a bit like our button in the studio which plays the songs for us without having to touch the CD player, the fader actually does it for us. And that can be very handy. If you put it back down again, the song will go right back to the cue point, which is generally set at the beginning of the song. So, lifting that up, we get ourselves an opportunity to play the song, focus on the mixer, without actually having to look at the CD player as well. Now, just to give you an idea, you might hear some slight differences here. So you can see how these EQs are actually working. But those EQs, by increasing the level of that particular sound, will turn our signal into a hot signal, reaching the top where it's red. So always consider keeping red out of the picture. You only need to know one side of this because the other side is identical. EQ for that side of the mixer, channel number 1, gain knob for channel number 1, and over here is a mic input, which will never be used in a studio environment, so you don't need to worry about that. In relation to the cue buttons, right here, cueing, outside of the cue button here, which determines where the song is going to start, these cue buttons are more in line with the concept that we have on our desks in the studio at the moment, and they allow you to preview it before it's actually coming to air. And in that, you'll have headphones. Headphones plug in right there, and then the cue level is this section right here. We have a choice of whether your headphones are only going to listen to what is got a Q button on, or whether it's going to hear both, or whether it's only going to hear the master output, in which case the Q button, if it's not playing through, will not be heard. Of course, you also have a level for your headphones, so depending on your quality of listening and ears, you can adjust that to be a comfortable level for you. Split Q is really only necessary in a sense where acts in a similar way to our Q buttons, where one ear in the headphones is one source, the Q, and the other earphone, like our headphones work in the studio, is what's playing to air. If you press this, then you'll have one source coming out of each ear. We do have a source select because there are several inputs on the back of this machine. However, we're set up for these to be sitting straight out at us. If you can't get a signal coming in, it has quite possibly got something to do with that switch right there. As far as these two pieces of equipment work together, they work together very well. They're designed to work together, they talk to one another, and it gives us an opportunity to multiply our use of CDs, MP3s, thumb drives, and even computer systems in relation to it. If you have MP3 CDs where you can fit a lot more than on a normal audio CD, that will also work in the CD drive down below, giving you an opportunity to once again search through all the songs that you have in relation to this. Your folders can be in the CD, and you will find all of these available to you through this menu here. Once you've found a folder, once again, using the track search buttons, we'll continue. Now, something a little bit trickier. This jog wheel, what does that do? Well, most of us know or have experienced record players in the past. If you physically put your finger on a record while it's playing, it will stop. That's the idea. If you move the record back and forward, it's called scratching. And that's what this allows you to do as well. Simply put, it can create a unique element to your show. However, it is not required to operate these CDs. There is no need to touch it if you don't want to, and moving it slightly is not going to determine or make the sound of your song unnecessarily poor. Information relating to these can be, once again, further found out upon your acceptance of them and you're finding that they're useful for your show. So once again, email me at president@noosacommunityradio.org for further instruction. Thanks for sharing. Look forward to talking to you soon. Cheers.